guys, welcome to another TFL Top 5. And last time we got together, Nathan, we talked about the top 5 common mistakes that people make when selling a car on Craigslist. So today we're doing the reverse side of that coin, which is
the top 5 buyer tips for Craigslist when buying a car.
Yeah, the top 5 tips are when you guys are out there looking for cars on Craigslist, which we troll all the time.
We do, and we have a lot of experience with it because, well, at least in my case, I primarily use Craigslist to buy new vehicles, and that's what I usually suggest to other people when they buy vehicles.
All right, let's just get right to it. Nathan, What's number 5?
Know the value of the vehicle you're buying, and it's very simple. You can go to kbb.com and then compare the price that you're able to put in with NADA. Now here's the thing. You go in there and there are different things you can choose, including trade-in value and whatnot. What you want to do is see what the sale value of the vehicle is. And then from there, go to Craigslist and see if that's jiving with the other prices of the cars that you're looking at. If it is, then, well, you're exactly at the right place.
Yeah, and car values are determined by region.
That's right.
So for instance, here in Colorado, anything that's all-wheel drive or four-wheel drive has a premium on it, whereas like a front-wheel drive convertible, not so much.
Not so much over here, that's right. So let's go to number 4, because this is really important, and it's how to search for those vehicles.
Yeah, because there's a really powerful search tool on Craigslist that you use all the time.
Yep.
So tell them about how you do that. How do you find, let's say I'm looking for a car I just found on Craigslist the other day, which is a Mitsubishi 3000 VR4.
It's my weakness. He's trying to tempt me into yeah. It only had like 24,000 miles on it. But what you can do in order to find that Mitsubishi, let's say, is there is a tool that's available right there on the screen for Craigslist, and you put in all the information, mileage, prices, and you can basically stagger everything to make sure that it's all within your reach.
So you can set the parameters, right?
That's right, all
say,
the parameters.
I want a Toyota Tacoma that's under $5,000, and it'll bring up all those vehicles.
Right. And then you can even go as far as transmission, engine, how many cylinders, even color. Now, I don't recommend that you go too far or else you may not have anything. You have to be a little bit flexible.
Now, Nathan and I disagree on this next tip because when I go into Craigslist to look for a vehicle, I always click by private party only. I have no interest in seeing cars that dealers are selling because my experience has been that dealers are always more expensive than private parties. Not always, but most of the time.
And often they can be. However, the other side of it is if you're looking for a vehicle that has a warranty or has a service history or whatnot, and you go to a dealership that had that vehicle as a trade-in, or more importantly, as a vehicle that is on their lot that comes with certain things that actually make it better in terms of an inspection that they can show you, in terms of paperwork that they can show you, and let's say it's an old Toyota that you're buying at a new Toyota lot, well, they may have the service history of that vehicle in their computers, in their service base. So there are a lot of reasons to look at dealerships as well.
Now, I have a basic rule of thumb that I use, and actually 2 rules of thumb. The first one is that anything a dealer sells is always $2,000 over what the market value is because they have to pay for their lights, their rent, but Nathan has some very valid points. And number 2, in general, vehicles sell for about 10% less than advertised on Craigslist. So if a car or truck is selling for $10,000, expect to pay about $9,000. I think most people are reasonable and understand that. Not everybody, but most.
Now, another thing is, let's say a vehicle is selling for $5,250. That $250 is what the seller is expecting to be mobile. He wants to stay on $5,000. So
yeah, round numbers are big.
Yeah, it really is. So just keep that in mind. Let's move on to number 3. It's an important one.
Yeah, number 3 is spot the scam, because there are a lot of scams on Craigslist.
Especially for people who are buying cars. I mean, selling, there's a few, but when you're buying, there are tons. Here's the thing to look for. If somebody is not willing to talk to you over the phone about the vehicle they're selling, scam.
Yeah, exactly. And if it's too good to be true?
It's too good to be true.
Yeah, because there are, we just did one like a year ago. We were looking for an old shop truck.
Right, a Tacoma.
Tacoma, and there was this beautiful ad that had gorgeous pictures. The truck looked too good to be true, and it was. It was being sold in a number of markets.
Yeah, from somebody in Arizona whose husband died and all these other weird things. Here's the bottom line. You want to get information on the vehicle that has no question marks whatsoever. And if you don't find the information that you need, forget it.
Yeah, another rule of thumb for me is if, for instance, they don't put the mileage It's probably got tons of miles. So whatever they omit is the weakness of the vehicle. And if there's a lot of information omitted, it's probably a scam, which actually gets us to number 2.
That's
how
right.
do you spot the scam, and how do you know that it's a valid, good car? And that is, you have to get to know the seller. And how do you do that?
It's very simple. First, you email them. That's the best way to start, but then you need to talk to them on the phone. Make sure that it's a human being, not a robot, and not somebody who's scamming you. And secondly, find out the reasons why they're selling the vehicle. You usually get a very good feel for what's going on with that vehicle based on how the seller says it and what the seller says.
Yeah, if you can't talk to the seller, if they're like, hey, I can't talk to you because I've been reassigned to someplace else, I just don't even bother with it, right? I want to talk to the seller. I want to get to know that person. I want to know the history of the vehicle. And like Nathan said, I want to know why they're selling it.
Yeah, if they only accept texts, it's a good chance that it could be a scam.
All right, and then the number one tip is what?
You got to be willing to walk away.
Yeah, you got to not fall in love with that vehicle and then, want it at all costs, because there's a lot of vehicles on Craigslist, and I bet you, Nathan, that your dream car, there's like 20 versions of it out there.
Absolutely. I mean, look, okay, we know that it's really hard to find everything exactly the way you want it, and then you suddenly find it, but it's a little too expensive and they won't move on the price. Look, you'll feel a lot better if you're willing to walk away from that vehicle and wait a little while and get another one. Now, on the other hand, it is difficult for some people to say, you know what, that's a really good deal, I don't want to walk away from it, but it's not the color I like. Maybe you should be a little bit more flexible if that's the case.
Yeah, and that kind of leads us to our bonus.
That's right.
And by the way, we will be doing another list about the test drive, but that's its own separate category.
Yeah, there's a lot of things you can do with the test drive, so we're going to do that in a separate video.
So this video is really about how to spot that car.
Right.
We'll do another video on what you do when you find that car. But what's the bonus, Nathan?
Make sure that the paperwork is there, the title, the Carfax, receipts. The more receipts, the better. If someone is meticulous and have kept receipts on the vehicle's service, you can bet they've tried to treat that vehicle well.
Yeah, my favorite kind of unicorn to find is a one-owner car.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because you know that person knows that car inside and out.
Yeah, they bought it new and they're selling it to you next. That's great. The other side of it is sometimes cars have 1, 2, or even 3 owners. There may be a reason for that.
Yeah, and I'm a big believer in getting a clean Carfax because, you
never know.
You never know. And in case you're wondering what a Carfax is, it basically gives you all the highlights of the car as to when it was either damaged or when it was titled. So basically, if the car has been retitled, it'll show you who the new owner was. If the car had an insurance claim on it, it'll show you what that claim was.
Right, but it'll also show you service intervals. Major service that's done to the vehicle, especially when it was purchased new and it was going through its service cycle, it'll show when it had its 30,000 mile servicing and whatnot. They usually put that into the system.
Yeah, because look, it's very easy on an inexpensive car to get upside down in the car.
Yep.
So let's say you're looking for a Ford. We were just recently looking for a Ford Ranger because we want to do a project on it. They range from anywhere from $2,000 to $5,000.
Right.
And let's say we found this $2,000, actually it was $2,500 Ranger, and you buy the thing and the transmission goes out.
You're stuck. There's nothing you can do, which is...
Now you're into it another $1,000.
That's right. And suddenly, those bills can stack up. Now look, there's no such thing as a perfect vehicle. You may get lucky and have one that was babied and absolutely runs perfect and gives you 100,000 miles. But you can also buy a vehicle that croaks the next day and you are absolutely stuck.
And we did walk away from that Ranger.
Thank goodness we did.
All right. As always, this is Roman.
And Nathan.
Saying thanks for watching, and check out tflcar.com for more news, views,
and real world reviews.
See you guys next time. Ciao.
Bye.
Hey guys, it's Roman.
And Nathan.
Saying we've got another top 5 for you, and this time we've got personal experience.
Absolutely. We've been dealing with Craigslist a lot.
Yes, we've just sold 4 cars on Craigslist and we've made a lot of mistakes. So these are the top 5 most common mistakes when you sell a car on Craigslist.